Hello and welcome to the Cinema Gold podcast. I'm your host, Larry Elise. Today we're looking into the box office news and giving our review of the new Tom and Jerry. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Poddex. Poddex are a unique tool and interview. Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. Use promo code CinemaGold for 10% off. I will have the link in the description. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to help support the show. So let's get on with this show. So this weekend, Tom and Jerry were the big cheese this weekend. It has become the second highest grossing debut of the ongoing pandemic, only second to Warner Brothers' Wonder Woman. It was estimated that the family movie would bring in just over $12 million, but it was able to exceed expectations. Both movies are from Warner Brothers and were released in theaters and on HBO Max the same day. Globally, Tom and Jerry were able to take in $38 million. Warner Brothers is seeing the success of Tom and Jerry coming from families around the country who are renting out theaters for private screenings, which I can attest to that. Working in a movie theater, I think over the weekend we had, I'm going to say 4 or 5 private events with Tom and Jerry being the actual movie they're watching. And I think that's about to rent it is $150. Outside of that, I'm not sure how much of the money goes towards that movie. Warner Brothers is seeing success continually over the pandemic. Box office numbers are expected to improve over the coming months as the country is receiving the vaccine. However, right now, less than 50% of North American movie theaters are open, but more are set to open later this year, probably early spring. The Croods: A New Age fell to number 2 this weekend, earning $1.2 million. This family film has been a strong earner at the box office since being released 14 weeks ago. The movie has now earned $156 million globally. The Little Things comes in at number 3 after bringing $925,000 to the box office. The movie has now earned more than $23 million globally. Wonder Woman 1984 is holding steady at number 4 with $710,000. And Liam Neeson in The Marksman has maintained its hold on number 5 after bringing in $700,000. Judas and the Black Messiah has also landed at number 6 after earning $500,000. This movie has been praised by critics and received some Golden Globe nominations for Best Supporting Actor. Monster Hunter took the 7th spot this weekend with $460,000, while Robin Wright's feature-length directorial debut Land took the 8th spot with $355,000. Wright's debut takes place after a woman has a near-death experience in the wilderness. She then tries to be comfortable living again. Tom Hanks' News of the World came in at number 9 after earning $200,000. This movie is also available for streaming. Finally, The War with Grandpa rounds out the list at number 10 with $137,000. This comedy has been in theaters for 21 weeks and isn't currently available on Blu-ray. The box office numbers come from The Numbers. And now let's get on with our review of Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is directed by Tim Story, the man behind Barbershop, Taxi, the first 2 Fantastic Four films, and most recently Shaft. This film finds Tom the cat and Jerry the mouse running into each other in New York City, eventually meeting Chloe Grace Moretz, who's attempting to work at a fancy hotel, hoping that a wedding between 2 insanely rich people goes well, And it kind of sucks for her that a cat and mouse keep getting in the way. Tom and Jerry, unfortunately, follows the formula of just about every one of the older cartoons that has now been adapted to a film. It takes place in New York City, has a lot of human characters we don't give up about, and really cheesy slapstick that isn't really funny, and it recycled jokes from a billion other movies involving poop and farts. All we really want to see is Tom and Jerry, and they're barely in the movie because Tom and Jerry are two animals that don't speak and run around for only 5 minutes or so while hitting each other with heavy objects. The old cartoons were fun. I loved watching Tom and Jerry running around, hitting each other. It was a kind of a thing I'd watch on TV when I'd be eating breakfast or just lying around the house. I didn't really care about the plot of the show. It was just entertaining. So to make a whole movie out of it, and an hour and a half movie at that, you can feel them straining to come up with ideas as the film plays out. There's these birds that routinely appear throughout the movie to break the fourth wall and remind us of what's going on in the plot. I'm not exaggerating. There are scenes with the birds where they stare at us and give us a recap of what has recently happened, just in case we forget. When we meet Kayla, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, she's on the best quality FaceTime call ever. Quitting her job, so she walks into this very fancy hotel, finds a woman there that's applying for a job. This woman's very excited about this job. It means a lot to her, and Caleb convinces her to not even apply. She lies and manipulates her to the point where she scares the Jesus out of her, and this woman just leaves without applying for the job. Then Kayla steals this woman's resume and applies for the job and gets it. And for some reason, I guess this was the film's way of making me like that character. And it didn't really work. Now, obviously the film is trying to set up an arc for her, where she starts out as a terrible person along the way. Tom and Jerry and their cat and mouse like antics will make her realize that she should have been a better person, and hopefully admits her faults. But that's not the best way to have that be the introduction to what is essentially the protagonist of your movie. It was strange because this is a film for kids, and this film is saying that to get to the top, you have to lie and cheat and steal, and step over someone else's hard work to get a job you want. Yep, it's definitely a big Hollywood movie. They love that crap, which brings me to the main thing I couldn't help but think about throughout the whole movie. This is a film where people get paid. There's nothing in the movie that reminded me of the cartoon, except for the fact that Tom and Jerry are in it, and occasionally they hit each other with things. This is a movie about a socialite wedding with two super rich people who want elephants and tigers and drones because we get a lot of product placement with these drones. They want all that crap at their wedding, and they're having marital problems that Chloe Grace Moretz can maybe help her with because she lost the ring. And he's kind of clueless. And Michael Pena, who runs part of the hotel, is annoyed that this woman has gotten this job, and he doesn't think she's qualified. And all this happening for the majority of the movie. Occasionally, Tom and Jerry appear for the most part, though it's everyone else. But maybe the comedy could save it. Maybe it could be funny. Michael Pena is hilarious. This movie has a lot of people in it that are good with comedy. Unfortunately, they went for embarrassing, awkward, cringe humor. Like people just talk and talk and talk in a scene until they realize they're being embarrassed. But they're not saying anything funny. Everyone stares at them and then they go, sorry, and walk away. That kind of humor where you would say, that person should love, oh my God, I love riddles. And well, if it were that someone, but I'm not, but I could be, who knows one day. One could only dream, VIP. Sorry, back to the question. It would depend on the size of the object. Is it a car? Is it alive? Could it be a dog? The most annoying part of the movie. And constantly, over and over again, people do very embarrassing things in public in front of crowds, like a fish that's animated, has a little thought bubble, and in the thought bubble is the poop emoji. That's the level we're here at. And I understand that it's a Tom and Jerry movie. I did not go into this movie expecting highbrow entertainment. I just would love if movies like this respected children. They seem to even remotely care about children and not pandering to them and not treating children like they're idiots. This is a movie that parents can turn on to make their infants not do anything for 90 minutes. But your kids aren't going to retain anything from this. If anything, they're going to learn to lie, cheat, and steal to get to the top, which isn't exactly what you want your kids to do. I'm sure it's actually kind of shocking how much of the film is about people, and this plot about a wedding with two super rich people at a hotel that we genuinely don't care about because they're actually being faithful, and that Tom and Jerry do not speak. And so to make a feature film out of this IP, they obviously had to populate it with people and get a lot of actors who made some money. This film reminded me of The Smurfs, which, if you've watched, you know those movies have really rubbed me the wrong way over the years. But I don't know what it is about these films where the studio just thinks, well, we have this IP, this old cartoon, let's throw them into New York City. Let's have them go to the Big Apple. We'll have some antics with some people, and it plays like a series of cringe-worthy humor sketches from SNL. Which reminds me, they even hired an SNL actor this time, so that's cool. I didn't expect anything going into this movie. I was just going to watch it and review it. I'm honestly really shocked, though, that these films just don't really care about kids, just keep getting made. There's nothing in the film that a kid can watch and think, oh, that was special, or that meant it's just a thing that can be on while they're sitting there eating their cereal. The best thing I can say about the movie is that they released it, it got made, it's a real movie that's out, and I guess it probably employed people, which is cool. People made money, people paid their bills. I'm gonna give Tom and Jerry a C. It's like the Smurfs, Yogi Bear, it's right in there. It's like all that I don't know why they can't make any good ones. They're just struggling. Well, that's my review of Tom and Jerry. Let me know what your thoughts are on Tom and Jerry. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at cinemagold2. And if you want to support this podcast, go to buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. That's buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Your support will help make this show even greater.